The story begins with a tense interrogation. A woman named Mary confronts a man demanding to know about an orphanage massacre, cross-referencing a promise that everyone involved will pay. The man vehemently denies any knowledge or involvement, but Mary is relentless, believing he is connected to the tragedy. Despite his pleas of innocence, she executes him, though he doesn't reveal any names. Afterwards, Mary's companion, a more cautious and seemingly senior figure, scolds her for her impulsive anger but notes a crucial piece of evidence Mary found in the man's pocket, a slip with the name of a hotel, Le Grand Noir. They surmise the hotel could be a lead to a larger organization and, more important, contacts, a key to unraveling the truth. The two women, driven by a shared mission for justice, refocus on this new lead. They express the difficulty of their work, with Mary feeling they are close but still in the dark. The other woman, preaching patience and strategy, acknowledges Mary's vital input. Later, a third woman, Eva, joins them, forming their central trio. They discuss their next steps, which involve continuous training and a new stealth setup. Eva has developed a software allowing them to replace surveillance cameras remotely. The conversation briefly turns reflective, touching on their pain, their powerful purpose, and the loss of a normal life which Mary promises they will have once their mission is complete. The narrative transitions to a training session showing the intensity and high stakes of their work, emphasizing that there is no room for mistake on their next mission. They are close to their goal and the danger is increasing. The women share a moment of levity, acknowledging their irresistible charm, which they use as a tool. A flashback or a concurrent scene introduces a convent setting where the women are preparing for their imminent departure. They are recognized as strong fighting women who will bring peace and justice. Their plan crystallizes around the lead. Derek Thompson, the owner of Le Grand Noir, is the key. He's hosting an exclusive private party that night. Mary volunteers to go inside, leveraging her looks to get close to Thompson, whom she believes will easily fall for a pretty face. Eva is assigned the role of the eyes, managing surveillance and the new stealth setups as they emphasize her crucial part in seeing what others miss. The mission is framed not as simple revenge but as redemption for themselves and for the lost. Mary, disguised as a nun, infiltrates the party and approaches Thompson. She uses the facade of seeking to redeem lost souls to pique his interest. Thompson, intrigued by her boldness, is initially dismissive but ultimately drawn in by her enigmatic presence. Mary gets him alone and drops the act, forcefully demanding the truth about his sins and the orphanage massacre. Thompson denies everything, claiming he was not involved. Mary, with the help of her companions, coerces him, threatening him until he cracks. He finally confesses that someone put a hit on the orphanage to send a message, but he doesn't know the master orchestrator's name. He gives them a name, Frank Delaney, the one who did the dirty work. After confirming the truth of his statement, Mary ruthlessly executes Thompson, declaring the first one is done. Now let's get the others. Immediately following the execution, the scene shifts to Mary experiencing a traumatic flashback of the massacre, reliving the dark orphanage, the crying children, and a woman pleading before she is pulled back to reality by her companion. The immediate focus is then on the new lead, Frank Delaney. Eva has already done some digging, revealing Delaney to be a mobster with various illegal operations. They plan to move that night. Mary, posing as a new recruit, intends to meet Delaney in his office on the second floor, get him alone and make him talk. The final sequence mirrors the previous confrontation. Mary meets Delaney and, after a brief tense exchange, confronts him about the orphanage massacre. Delaney is visibly disturbed but initially denies knowledge. Under duress, he finally reveals a shocking detail: the massacre was a government job ordered by national security. He claims he didn't know it would turn out that way and didn't know the superior's name, only that it was a guy in a suit who said it was above his pay grade. Crucially, Delaney denies killing the children, claiming he couldn't bring himself to do it, and hesitated, implying the true killer is still unknown. The orders were to wipe out everyone. The news confirms the official link to a government man but leaves the central mystery of the true killer and the man's identity unsolved, leaving the trio with a new, even more dangerous lead. In a seemingly separate concurrent thread, the women also take on another mission of justice against a corrupt music producer, a man exploiting vulnerable women, demonstrating their commitment to their deadly moral crusade. The intense pursuit of justice by Mary, Eva, and Sarah continues following the confrontation with Frank Delaney. They deduce that Delaney was merely a grunt following orders, but his testimony solidifies their suspicion of government involvement. This was not a random act but a planned operation by powerful people. Delaney provides two more names, Marco Rodriguez and Bobby Miller. The trio recognizes the risk of digging into government affairs but understands it's crucial to explaining why the massacre case has been so tangled. The unseen companion, possessing key resources and connections, agrees to start the risky investigation, knowing the consequences. The women immediately pursue Miller and Rodriguez. Mary, once again adopting a charming disguise, approaches Bobby Miller, a distinguished collector and facilitator for elite circles. Posing as a prospective client, she engages him in flirtatious banter while probing for information about his connections and his role in secretive exchanges. Miller boasts about catering to those with money, influence, and power, many of whom aren't exactly clean. Mary directly confronts him about the orphanage attack, revealing Delaney's name. Miller, realizing she is one of Delaney's associates, tries to buy her off, but Mary refuses, determined to find the truth. Meanwhile, Eva, disguised as Sister Eva, approaches Marco Rodriguez, a man who presents himself as a devoted charity worker. Eva's softer approach earns his trust and they discuss his work with needy children. Getting him alone, Eva abruptly drops the charitable facade and demands information about the massacre. Under Duras Rodriguez names Elena Garcia, a former Special Forces member, as the one calling the shots that night. He also mentions higher-ups influential government people but doesn't know their names. After extracting the information, Eva executes Rodriguez. The new intelligence points to Garcia, who is identified as highly dangerous with formidable defenses. The women debate their next move, with the unnamed companion urging caution and strategy and Sarah growing impatient and impulsive. Despite the warnings to stick to the plan and remain calm, Sarah acts alone, confronting Elena Garcia. Sarah, distraught, demands to know why Garcia ordered the massacre, accusing her of killing all those children and metaphorically killing her. Garcia tearfully admits she had no choice, revealing that a man named Robert Gray, who worked for the government, promised to save and protect Sarah if Garcia did as he asked. Garcia admits she trusted him and let him destroy everything in a desperate attempt to protect Sarah, her supposed daughter, only for Gray to disappear. In the emotionally charged confrontation, Garcia kills Sarah. Mary and Eva arrive moments later to find Sarah dead. The companion who'd urged caution immediately turns on Mary, blaming her for sending Sarah unprepared. Grief-stricken and furious, Mary and Eva demand to know the identity of Robert Gray, the last name Sarah uttered. The companion claims to know Gray, a former comrade involved with the orphanage who is now supposedly dead, and warns them not to go after him, insisting the past is best left buried. Mary and Eva refuse to let Sarah's death be in vain, certain Gray is the key to everything. Mary suggests the priest might be involved due to his suspicious closeness to the orphanage's secrets. Suddenly the companion reveals a new name, Victor Vargas, claiming he is the mastermind behind the orphanage. The companion, whose past contacts confirmed Vargas's guilt, argues that Vargas is the powerful and connected one responsible. Mary and Eva, now completely distrustful, accuse the companion of lying and protecting someone, but they reluctantly agree to follow the lead, insisting they will check out Vargas themselves with no more surprises. The remaining sisters, Mary and Eva, mourn Sarah's death but commit to moving forward, vowing to fight for her memory. They track down Victor Vargas at a bar. Mary uses their established seductive approach to get Vargas alone. Once in a quiet spot, they abandon their playful facade and restrain him. Under interrogation, Vargas is defiant, admitting the massacre was part of something much bigger. It wasn't just about killing children but was necessary for a greater agenda, claiming the orphanage was too soft to create the merciless killers needed. He finally breaks and names Robert Gray, confirming he was a government operative who managed the clean-ups and loose ends but is now supposedly gone. At this point, Eva makes a devastating realization and accuses their companion, the one who warned them away from Gray and then provided Vargas's name, of being Robert Gray himself, having hidden in plain sight as the one leading their investigation. The companion confirms the accusation, admitting to being Gray the one who orchestrated the massacre. He states the massacre was necessary for the greater good, using the children's lives for a twisted agenda, claiming the orphanage was too soft to create merciless killers. The confrontation escalates. Gray kills Eva, completing his monstrous cycle of manipulation and destruction. A final desperate confrontation ensues between Mary and Robert Gray, who reveals his motives: he used and destroyed them for his twisted goals. Mary, heartbroken and enraged by the deaths of her two sisters, strikes the final blow, ending his reign of terror and avenging the lives he destroyed. The intense, violent quest for justice culminates in a devastating reveal that turns the entire mission on its head. After pursuing the leads provided by the executed Bobby Miller and Marco Rodriguez, who named former Special Forces operative Elena Garcia, the trio suffers a grievous loss. Sarah, acting impulsively and against the warnings of her companions, confronts Garcia alone. In a tragic encounter, Garcia reveals that the massacre was ordered by a government operative named Robert Gray, who manipulated her with a false promise to protect Sarah, who is revealed to be Garcia's daughter. Before the truth can fully surface, Sarah is killed, leaving Mary and Eva consumed by grief and distrust toward their remaining companion. This distrust is warranted. After pursuing a final lead, mobster Victor Vargas, the women coerce him into confirming the involvement of Robert Gray, who he claims handled the cleanups. The true mastermind, however, is unmasked when Mary and Eva realize the shocking truth: Robert Gray is their own trusted companion who has been hiding in plain sight, controlling their movements and feeding them leads. Gray reveals his twisted motive: the massacre was necessary to create merciless killers for a greater good in a larger, darker agenda. He then executes Eva, repeating the cycle of betrayal and murder. Mary, fueled by the rage of her sister's deaths and the ultimate betrayal, finally manages to kill Robert Gray, bringing the ruthless, bloody mission for redemption and truth to a definitive, albeit catastrophic, end. If you enjoy watching this video, then subscribe to Angel Recaps for the latest movies explanation.